right, welcome to another edition of One Mic. Let me bring my co-host into the building. I see my man Hammer over here. Hammer look like you look like you missed spend some time on Capitol Hill trying to help the Republicans figure out who's going to be the next speaker. What's up, man? How you doing?
Man, they need a priest. They don't need me, man. They need a priest. They need a pastor. That's
What
a
they
hot
go?
mess.
They on the sixth vote right now.
Yeah,
Uh,
6 vote. Yeah, yeah.
ooh, ooh,
No, I'm doing well. I went to a reception for Wisconsin Women in Government, so it was great to
okay.
support them, help with
Yes,
equity in government, with making sure that our female leaders are being respected and have their places at the table. And
yes,
my friend Jason Fields said, "You want to be the table, not the menu."
yes.
So that's the bottom line. So yeah, but no, I'm doing well, brother. Yeah, definitely well, and yeah, I like this. Doing well, doing well.
Yeah,
Look forward to being with you on Sunday.
yeah.
We'll do a little
We'll
preview.
about that later on in the show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
that man over there doing his thing. My man Darnell, how you doing, man? You-
Oh yeah, last weekend was like Frankie Beverly and Mays said, joy and pain. Joy, man, my boy Tyler Mabry, my high school teammate, one of my best friends since sixth grade, scored his first touchdown last Sunday
mm,
in the Seahawks versus Jets game. And
wow,
it's been amazing to watch him because this guy is the definition of a perseverance
mm,
from going undrafted to being on the practice squad to being called up to getting cut to getting put back on the practice squad, and he's finally starting to pay off. He got called up last week, and he got his first catch, and his first catch was a touchdown. So, and
wow.
his
So
whole life,
Mabry? Wow. Okay. I didn't know. He's from Ypsilanti.
yeah, he's from it. Well, he's from
Y'all
Italy.
representing.
Yeah,
You got KJ. You got him. Okay, that's what's
yeah,
up. I
Yeah,
didn't know. I was just happy for the brother. I saw his background, but I didn't see where he's from. But yeah,
oh yeah.
that's what's up. That's
Yep,
what's
wow.
I
up.
played football, baseball, basketball, everything with him since middle school. That's what I got.
That's what's
But
up. That's what's up, man.
Wow,
and
wow.
on the other end of things, fantasy football. Not fantasy football. Yeah, I did lose the fantasy football league. I've been in first place since like week 4. But
Man, you got
the
shafted,
unfortunate
bro.
events from Sunday we're going to talk about. Yeah, they, we ended up they ended up calling. Well, the game's being called. They're not gonna play the game this week. So the points were totaled, and a decision I guess has been made. So yeah, I guess that it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's one of the things. We definitely uh, want to start with Damar Hamlin, and just while watching Monday Night Football, you know, in realizing from fantasy and all the things that we talk about, um, that we realize kind of the importance of this game. I think about um, all the times that we've all, by now you and I talk about this, all the time, all the hits you've been, all the practices you've been, all the, from little league, um, and seeing people laying down and getting medical care. Um, you always think about them recovering in some way. But when he fell to the ground, it was just, uh, I was like, okay, he's going to get up. And when he didn't, it was just, it just reminded us of, you know, as you were talking about the story of what people go through to get there and the sacrifices. But they are putting a lot on the line. I was exchanging a text with Chris Borland about it, and it's just Chris has been an advocate around safety and um, just head issues and in CTE and just the violence of the sport. And it's a game we love, and we love it because of the fantasy. We love it because of all the other things. But then we're reminded that people are putting stuff, their lives on the line. And I didn't even realize, Darnell, even our cousin Bobby had coached him through middle school and through high school in the Pittsburgh area. And so my brother told me about this. Like he had just been wearing his jersey, and so proud, like talk about this kid, and he coached, and knew him, and then you hear Tomlin talk about he's known him since he was 12 years old. You know, it just families and stuff like that. But I just wanted to put that out there. I know we've been going back and forth, in our text box and messages, and this is the first time we actually have been in this space to even reflect on it. But I like to maybe just give both of you a space to just what you've seen, and he looks like he's making some recovery, but he's got a long ways to go. We don't know
Yeah.
where that's at. Reports are coming here and there, but whatever it is, it's going to be a long recovery. But it just reminds us of the risk of the game, and so I'll start with you, Darnell, as someone who's working with you know you working with like you said, some of these cats you work with are now playing the league, like KJ and some of these other folks that and from you grew up with, who are playing the league, and people who you have personal relationships with are playing there. But you're also developing a lot of young players early in their career who got all these aspirations. How is it for you as a coach? Seeing this.
Well, yeah. When my little opening monologue, I know it's gonna sound a little, that's gonna sound insensitive because I was just talking about like the fantasy football aspect, but yeah, this is real life. That's the thing the point I really want to make. This is these players. I know it's the sport NFL. It's about entertainment, but these are real people with real lives, real families, and it was an incredibly scary and sad situation. When I first saw it, I immediately thought about Hank Gathers,
Yep.
seeing
Yep.
him go down like that, and I was like,
Yep.
man, because like the original hit didn't seem like it was all too crazy. We seen much like harder hits, but like it was just like the wrong place at the wrong time.
Mm.
Yeah, just hoping that he can recover, and even if he's probably not gonna play again, you know what I'm saying, but. Just to get back to his family, he's doing stuff in the community as far as charity and stuff like that. And that's somebody in the community that you need. So um, just all hopes and prayers go out to Damar Hamlin.
Hammer, I know we're paying close attention to this. We're going back and forth, and
Mm.
I know it's a game you love. You've been to a lot of these games and
Yeah.
cheering and getting emotional. Um,
Mm.
I'd probably give you a little space to reflect on this.
Yeah, well, the thing that's really ironic is that, um, but for him for him being a football player, being in that space, any other a person in that situation would be dead right now.
Yeah.
So the fact that he was in a football stadium, that's the place where you have the most care available.
Yeah.
And the most ironic thing, from giving my Chicago viewpoint, I know you want me on there to do that. The late Chuck Hughes, the only person to pass away during a game, it was Lions and Bears, and Chuck Hughes went to, now it's called Texas El Paso, and apparently had a heart attack early part of the year. They lied and said it was a spleen injury, and he dropped dead. And Dick Butkus was 71. Dick Butkus waved. It was too late,
Mm.
So it kind of shows the difference with Damar. It seems like he's back. My understanding that now he's 50% lung capacity. So I'm gonna try to take him out the ventilator either tomorrow or the next day. Yeah, like Darnell said, most likely he's not going to be able to play again, but that's the least of our worries. I mean, this puts things in perspective. Everyone's talking about the fantasy. People are upset about the fantasy. Yeah, I don't blame. I mean, we got another week. We can
Yeah.
do another fantasy week, but the main thing is the nonsense talking about they don't play in 5 minutes.
Mm.
That's some craziness. I mean,
Yeah.
I still, and you got people like Skip Bayless clowning and Bart Scott trying to blame T. Higgins, and it brings the worst of us in a time that really should be we should be getting together and really praying for Damar and praying for his family and looking at the philanthropic endeavors he did with now it's 3 million, my understanding, for his toy drive and all the stuff he did in Pittsburgh. And this is a young man. I hope, like I said, he probably won't play football again, but he can contribute to society in some type of way. And just thank the medical personnel, because this Brandon Buzz' heart stopped twice. It stopped on the field and it stopped at the hospital. So I give credit to our first responders, our healthcare providers, who again these are the top in the country. And like I said, he was another thing that 2 miles away from one of the best trauma centers in the world. It's a blessing, that he's alive. But we're gonna pray for him, and this puts stuff in perspective. This takes the fantasy and brings the reality, right? This humanizes. You have some. Now I mention names here. You have some clowns out there trying to claim this is related to vaccinations. I mean, come on, it's not time for that mess.
Yeah.
Those guys are human garbage saying that mess about vaccination.
Yeah.
Because again, they can't prove it, and they got blasted to kingdom come, which they deserve to be,
Yeah.
because this is not a time to be politicized. This is not a time to be insensitive. Talking about you gonna play the game regardless. No, they ain't gonna play the game.
Yeah.
These are human beings. These aren't slaves.
Yeah.
Skip Bayless,
Yeah.
and Bart Scott, people trying to be histrionic, try to help their careers. Bart disappoints me with that mess. They're trying to blame another. The brother got enough problems dealing with the hit
Yeah.
as it is. And you're gonna try to put gasoline on the fire.
Yeah.
So Bart's a disappointing brother.
Yeah. And I would say that, that's the thing about it is that, in this era of clickbait, everybody's trying to be first. And I was, because I'm the kind of person, I believe I have a compassionate side, and I'm kind of, and I'd like to show it. And so I felt it was important to from our platform to make a statement, but I didn't want it to be pro forma because of all that other stuff, right? And it's that clickbait stuff. And, I remember, when I walked away from the game, I remember watching one of my teammates go down hard in preseason. I had been doing it, and I realized you play football, but you can't play football. Like, if you're not 100%, you just can't show up.
Yeah. No.
Like, I realized that at the moment, and in the time I had played, and I just, um, like I told Chris, I was thinking about you, as I was watching it, and it just you can't play football that way. And when you hear people like Ryan Clark talk about it, and others who, himself had been through a life threatening scenario. I
Yeah.
mean, when these cats are at the table trying to get extra money for support and health and the health care and all this other stuff, long term care, all this other stuff, people got to remember this kind of stuff as part of this process. And not everybody gets paid. The careers at this sport, what's average 3 years.
3 years, man. Yeah, 3 years.
And so he was in his second year, so the average is 3 years,
Yeah.
right? And so and even when you start to have benefits and all the other stuff kick in, so you know you
That's
know
5 years. Yeah, the
you,
best is
Yeah,
5 years.
you know and so like you know so I hope people feel that way and understand it when cats are trying to get these kind of long-term support for these players who entertain us and allow us to have our fantasy football, allow us to do all the trash talking we're doing. These are just data points. These are just folks right there. These are folks with real lives, with families who are trying to make it happen. And so, I just thought that we need to have this space because that's who we are. And we're going to talk about other aspects of sports, but our thoughts and prayers will be his family, but also with all the other players who got to line up this week, who
Good.
all
Yeah.
are, who are doing it for our benefit, not only, in the pro level, but in college as well, who we watched over these past weekends. And, with
High
all the
school.
kids,
High school. Shoot.
yeah,
High
high
school.
school,
Yeah.
in all these places, young kids, Darnell, are, working with who are putting those hours in only to try to get to the point where he was, right? So that's something that we just got to remember so we're creating a space. We'll continually to monitor it and be there in spirit. And I think his charity has got up to $6 million.
Yeah.
Um, I know my brother Steve was saying they were around when his charity used to see some of the stuff he was doing, and the way that he is trying to get some stuff happening. So that to have this kind of benefit for kids, and you don't want it to happen this way, but you know, God is we get spiritual. God has a plan. We don't figure that one out. We don't know what it is now, but we'll figure that out. We can do that in RSG because we underground. We can do this.
Amen.
And you can't.
Amen.
We'll put this out here like this. So we all
Amen.
right with it.
Because
So
we're real. We're
yep,
real.
we're real on that. We're real on that. Um, Not all for transitions, but we got a national championship game coming on Monday. But we can't get to the national championship game without talking about the national semifinal game. And I said my keys to the Michigan. We'll start with the Michigan game. I said my keys to the Michigan game was the red zone. That was my key. I said I've been worried about it all year. And on the first drive, after a long play, they run the Philly special. It looked like Philly special. I don't know what they were trying to do. Without the best player out there on the field. And I'm like, we have no game. I remember, I don't know if it was a 30 for 30 with the U or somebody, when somebody ran a trick play and someone said, that's when you know he's got him. Was that the U? Whatever, that's when we
Yeah,
know he's
that
got
was
him,
you.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
Was that the U?
yeah.
conflict versus
That was you.
conflict.
And
Yeah.
yeah. That kind of came to mind when I saw that play. I was like, are we throwing up the flag this early? And I'm gonna say we because I was supporting Michigan on that one. Um, but it was a shootout. I mean, it was entertaining. I mean, it was going back and forth. But that TCU, they just got grit, man. Now
Mhm.
there was some, Darnell was talking about. And I'll let Darnell. I'll talk to you. I want you to talk because there's some things that you thought, and I was thinking about it, but Darnell's got the technical stuff now because he's coaching every day. But I was saying exactly what he was saying, that Michigan was not making adjustments, and then on defense, they seemed like, I thought they went back to their old defensive coordinator, 2 defensive coordinators ago. We're gonna play zero coverage. We're gonna do all this stuff, and they just, I mean, a lot of stuff that I was just like, oh my goodness, we got stuff going on. But they still had a chance to win down the stretch. But TCU, boy, them some junkyard dogs over there. I'm just gonna say that. Them some junkyard dogs over there. But give me your perspective on the game. Darnell, I'll start with you, then move over to you, Hammer.
Yeah, I think TCU played inspired football. I
Yeah.
mean, they heard all the stuff,
Oh,
all the disrespect from Michigan, not only Michigan fans, but Michigan players as well, saying that they're just gonna run it down their throat and they're gonna do whatever they want to them. And I heard that they had the little coaches meeting, right? Where the coaches from both teams, I think it was a coaches dinner, right, between both teams' coaches, and the coaches' wives there too. The Michigan coaches didn't show up. It was just the Michigan coaches. They sent their wives as a representative. I don't know what happened. I was like, what? I was like, they got disrespected like that, man. But like, yeah, that played out in the game. Like, the first couple plays, they run ISO, they get 50 yards on it. They're like, okay, we're gonna run the ball up the middle. It's gonna work. It's just gonna work. But no, just because they're in a 3-3-5, just because there's six guys in the box to start out with, doesn't mean it's gonna end up that way. They start adding guys to the box, and you don't know where they're coming from. And they stay and in their 3-3-5. The end to the side, the open side, is in the four eye. If you don't know what four eye is inside technique on the tackle, right? And so he's playing the B gap with heavy technique, and then like the linebackers coming in shooting in full speed, especially because Michigan, their tendency, like the first down, they always running the ball. So when first down rolls around, they know it's a run. They come in full speed ahead to try to stop the run. And what I was saying is, what I was telling Devon was, when they have that four eye there, they should just run pin and pull,
yeah.
because they should they should pin and pull is a sweep outside. So the play side tackle, just reach the four eye. He's already inside, so you can just reach him, get to his outside shoulder. The guard comes around, pulls around for that outside linebacker, and have the tight end arc release and get to the nickel. But yeah,
Georgia gonna do that.
oh yeah, especially if Darnell playing. If
Yeah.
Darnell Washington is playing, I got Georgia. But you can't count TCU out, because
No.
TCU has that. They have that heart. They have that heart of a champion. So you can never count them out. I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, you put it right on it, uh, and just the inability to make that slight adjustment, and Um,
The
and they
two
kind of
pick
ran
sixes
outside
hurt
like that.
too.
They did it against Ohio State. They found that outside, and they did. It was like they were stubborn. Like, we can't believe we can't do this. And I'm thinking, okay, y'all have not figured out these cats can't play. And when you pass on fourth down, that linebacker that's coming is just continuing all the way to the quarterback. And so they didn't bring JJ into the running game until late. That was the other thing. Add JJ in the running game.
Mhm.
He's supposed to be add him in the running game and do the same thing. And late in the game, it was working. So yeah, TCU came to play. And I didn't know that they did disrespecting like that. So you get all you deserve when you do that. Like, that's not the you. There's nobody's earned anything to be able to do that. Nobody's earned anything. Nobody's earned enough in that Michigan program to act like that. And the fact that it was allowed to happen is a problem. No, there's nobody's earned nothing. Yeah, you want back to back Big Ten, but like, if you're talking about being elite, nobody's earned anything yet for people to be acting that way. So you got what you deserve, and they stunned it on you, and then they trolled you. They trolled him. They was trolling JJ. Hey, I'll go to Hammer, man.
No, the bottom line is that Michigan's lost 5 straight bowl games. That's unacceptable for Michigan.
Unacceptable.
Unacceptable. And really,
6.
yeah, 6. Okay, my bad. I stand corrected.
No,
So yeah, I think really, Harbaugh needs to leave, man. He's not gonna get the mother load the championship. You see right now that we got 2 Southern schools again in the final. I just think, sadly, we in the Midwest, we ain't built for it.
No, but the thing about it is,
No, we ain't
they
built for it,
that was
D-Wells. We
about
ain't built
talent.
for it. We ain't
That was
built for
about
it. We ain't built
execution.
for it.
Yeah, that wasn't
No,
like they
but
had enough talent to win. It was about execution.
it's arrogance, though. It's arrogance. I
Yes.
mean, they
So
believe
I
their own hype, but I
they
still
just got
think,
they
but
couldn't
D-Wells, though,
execute.
it's just, I'm sorry, though. You got TCU turning around 2 years, man, because they in Texas.
Yeah, but they
I
they
mean,
look like
they can
junkyard
get
dog.
talent. They can reload talent. Yeah, they junkyard
They
dog, but they
play
got
like
talent too.
they got that
Yeah,
can't go back play that they play
they
like
do
all
have
those
it, but they
kids
also
play
got
like
talent,
I
man.
can't
They
go
also
back.
got talent. They got talent though too. They got
But
talent too. It
the
ain't
thing
like
about it
I'm
was
telling you.
the talent was the situation. Look, when you are not getting there on the blitz, and
Yeah,
you got one receiver that's killing you, and you haven't figured out you need to double him.
yeah.
It
Well,
wasn't like they killed him with like everybody. They
Called
killed him with
terrible.
like two players.
He called a terrible game. I mean, like I
Yeah,
said,
it,
like
it
I'm
wasn't like
sure
they
some
didn't
Michigan
score.
fans thought Don Brown had been rehired and
Yeah,
snuck in the stadium, but
they
Darnell's
put up
laughing.
points.
Yeah, they put up
They
points,
put
but
up
they gave
points.
up too many damn
Defense let them
points.
down too.
And then
well,
JJ
JJ,
gave 14 back to the team.
yeah,
So
I'll
yeah,
give it to him.
Yeah,
to the
and they
defense.
gave two. He threw two pick sixes because he was
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to be who he's trying to be.
Well,
So it wasn't like it was like they
He believed
couldn't
the hype of
beat him.
that
It's
Ohio
about
State game.
execution.
He thought he had become, the first pick in the draft, first pick of
Oh, he
2020.
did.
He was believing the hype. So
Yeah,
again, JJ is a very talented cat, but not consistent, man. I mean, he
yeah,
wasn't consistent all year. I mean, he was better than McNamara. They ain't
yeah.
saying too much. So, and he's a young cat. But the main thing is that Harbaugh needs to go, man. He had his head. He wanted to be Vikings coach, and they knew they picked the right dude. I think KOC is a great young coach. Harbaugh wants to, like I say, when you get up to, I mean, college football is great and all, but when you one step before the Lombardi Trophy, your brother beats you, you know you got the itch that you need to scratch to be back in the NFL. And so I think he's run his time out in Michigan, man. I think either Panthers or the Broncos are going to go after him because I think no one's giving up that draft pick for Sean Payton. They're going to wait till his contract runs out in 2024. And Sean looks good on that set with Fox. I mean, Jimmy's, I guess, showing in the keys and working part time now. Sean Payton's killing it. He might be like Cowher. He might just stay in the studio, less stress.
Yeah.
So, but the main thing is that Michigan just, again, they believe their own hype. They've lost 6 bowl games in a row, and Harbaugh it was always a marriage. It was awkward because everyone knew where Harbaugh really wanted to be, but after Brady Hoke got fired and he got fired by the Niners. It just made sense. It was a marriage. It was a shotgun marriage, basically. My alma mater, but his heart's not in Michigan. I mean, his heart is in the NFL. We want him in Chicago, the Bear fans, but he ain't
Yeah,
stupid.
and I keep pushing back on you on that, but taking calls, but it's not really a job interview. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if
He's
you
taking the calls
this,
though. Like
you are
someone, I'll
really
break it down.
privileged.
Like
Yeah,
someone told me when I took my last gig in Chicago. I'll just tell you, Don said to me, like, you took the call. So that's real. Like I
yeah,
said, I'm probably saying something, but we can keep it real. I
yeah.
took the call. So again, that's the main thing. If you really want to stay at the place, you ain't taking the call.
You ain't taking the
You like
call.
you saying thank no thank you.
Yeah,
So
like right after you lost,
you talk to somebody
yeah,
that
you can't.
me. I've been in
Yeah,
spaces where they call me, and
yeah. I'm not taking the call. I get email all the time.
But he's
I'm
taking
not
plane
answering email.
calls, and
I'm not taking the
he's
call.
flying plane
I,
places.
I
So
love what I do. I'm not even
yeah,
listening.
yeah,
I ain't even picking up the
yeah,
phone. When
yeah,
I
yeah.
do,
Yeah,
then
it's
I'm gonna
time.
listen.
Yeah, it's
Right?
time to go. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
but
and the main thing with him is like, and you talk. And I'll give an analogy. You broke it down. You gave a good segue to the segment. You gotta be all in on the football field, or you will literally get killed.
yes,
Okay, I mean, because this, you look at this freak injury. Basically, his chest was hit by T. Higgins, and that caused cardiac arrest of someone who is one of the premier athletes in the world. I mean, you don't get in the NFL the type of stress you put on your body, the type of running he does, type of thing. The pro, he was a Panther, Pit Panther, high level of athletics, and then high level on high school level, and filling in for Michael Porter or Michael Hyde, excuse me, and balling, and he almost dies. Yeah, and so the bottom line is that Harbaugh's not all in. He's not all in. And so that's what Michigan needs, somebody who's all in. Like I think a Kalen DeBoer would be great. Someone who's all in, who really wants to be a Wolverine and not have a shotgun marriage, not have a job just because he needs a job, basically. Whatever you said, that he was bored. So yeah, so the bottom line is that they gotta get rid of Harbaugh, and them need to part ways. Just like Ryan Day and Ohio State need to part ways. It ain't working. You're not getting, again, Michigan football is undefeated national champ. That's the standard. Anything else is a failure. Is an abject failure, as far as I'm concerned. Is an abject
He
failure.
said Michigan football, anything other than undefeated national championship is a
I
failure.
mean,
How
that's
many
the
times
goal
has
every year.
Michigan?
That's the goal every year. That's the goal every. What's the goal every
Wait,
year,
when was the
Darnell?
last time Michigan have done that? When was the last time
That's
Michigan
the
has done
problem.
that?
That's why y'all fired a lot of coaches. Rich Rod and Brady Hoke. And
1997 was the last time.
I know
They
when
they
Lloyd
shared the
Carr did it.
championship in
When Lloyd Carr
1997.
did, that's the thing. He got fired too.
no,
So
no,
again, the
and
main thing
I'm
about
saying what they're doing now is the fans should be great for it.
Right.
Like you have been in it. I think fans are happy with that. I'm like, but
no, the
don't
fans
bring
aren't
the
happy
other
with
stuff
you.
into the
Lose
room.
6 straight bowl games. Come on
But
now,
I'm like,
Darnell.
but the TC,
We
like,
ain't
but
talking.
I'm
We ain't talking
saying
about
the
Iowa State. We talking about Michigan. We ain't
but
talking about Michigan State. We talking about Michigan, man.
but the last year was
We talking
against
about Bo
Georgia.
Schembechler. We talking about,
Yeah,
man. We talking
last
about
one was against
Michigan, man.
Georgia. Then we
Wait a
was dealing
minute.
with
Bo Schembechler never won a championship.
yeah.
Well, again, it's the standard, bro. It's a standard. Yeah, I'm
The
not
standard
saying he
at
didn't
Michigan
win a
has
championship,
always
but
been Big Ten championship.
Rose Bowl.
At the back Rose Bowl and being in the conversation. That's been the Michigan, and then finish it every once in a while. Be able to finish it.
you don't hire somebody
Where
like Harbaugh if you
part
talking
of the
about you
standard
want to
where you might be
win.
right is the
You
standard
want
is
to
not losing
win.
to TCU,
You hire a
right?
coach who was one step away from winning the Lombard to get on the stage, and the thing that stopped him was his brother. So you talk about the fact his brother knew every tendency he had. So that was the worst time of game. When you up in the biggest game of your life, you against your brother. Come on now. I think he would beat anybody on the AFC side, but John. That's a guy you grew up with, who you confided with, who you broke bread with. So that was like, man, you lost your brother. So the bottom line is that, like I said, he would have won that thing. That was a great team. He had Cap. He had a great defense. Offense. I mean, they had a great team. But who was the person that was the barrier? It was John Harbaugh. And so, no, Michigan football is you need to win every. Ohio State football, I think, is an absolute failure. You need to win the championship every year. And I'll put it this way: Wisconsin, if we don't win 12-0 this year, that's a failed season. I looked at a failed season. You think I might act crazy, but that's what the fans want. That's what you got me on here. I'm telling you what the fans want.
Well,
Plain and
I'm
simple.
saying
They don't want no. They don't want no.
I'm
We
not
win
I
going
the
to
have,
say
I
CFP.
have
They
one
want to win the
question.
CFP.
I have one question.
go ahead, Darnell.
How many teams in college football do you think and if they don't win 12 games in the national championship is a failure?
Very few, yeah. But we're talking about Michigan
Very
now.
few. And you think Wisconsin's in the very few?
I think after the hire we made, $8 million a year, yeah, we in the very few. Or he's gonna get fired.
I'll say so.
Every
So
all the
Georgia,
rumors
if
that
so
he
Georgia
thinks he,
doesn't go 12-0 championship, they're a failure, right? You
yeah,
probably think
I think yeah.
they're in that league. So
They fired
Alabama,
Mark Richt, was one of the best coaches in football.
Ohio State,
That's a failure.
Michigan,
That's a failure.
Clemson,
Alabama failure.
and then Wisconsin
Clemson.
right there.
Again, with the coach we've hired, you can laugh all you want to. We ain't paying you. See us. You need to come to Wisconsin and spend a weekend in Madison. You'll see the culture here, and then you'll be back in Epsilon. And you'll be like, "Yeah, Carl, you're right." You come to Wisconsin, brother. And which, yeah, you laughing, but you need to come to Camp Randall. You need to come tailgate with us. You need to see the culture of we're gonna bring you. That's what we're gonna do. That's a New Year's resolution. We're gonna bring you because you need to see the culture here because you don't believe the hype. But I'm telling you,
I don't question if they love the game. Nebraska
we
loves
ain't
the
bringing no
game, but
coach.
Nebraska not
We
a
ain't
failure if
bringing
they
no
don't
coach
win
making
the
$8 million.
championship.
I met dudes, in the airport, and he was like, Ray. I mean, this dude is traveling all the time. This dude is out here hustling because he knows what. Like I said, he knows this is my chance to shine. I got no excuse now. I made lemonade out of lemons at Cincinnati. I went to a group of 5 school and made the CFP. So if he's in a Power 5 school, there's only one option. Now, again, I'm not stupid. Now, are we the favorite? No, but I'm telling you, we ain't paying $8 million a year to Luke Fickell unless we get a chip. It's that simple. We're tired of being good. We want to be great. That's simple. We want to be
I
great in
would say
Wisconsin.
where
That's
I
what we want to
share
be.
where I share where Carl is. They are not investing to go to the Big Ten championship
Thank
and
you.
lose 55-17 Ohio State.
Yeah,
They're going to Big Ten championship
59-0.
to win that
yeah,
and against Ohio State and be able to go. Now, if you figure you can beat Ohio State in that environment or Michigan in that environment, then you are positioning yourself most likely to be where Carl is at. Too many times, man, I've been on the phone, I've been on the text where folks were in the suite
yeah,
at the Big Ten championship, watching them L's, and it was quiet in there.
yeah.
Chances ain't trying, people ain't trying to get on the plane to go down to Indianapolis for those kind of outcomes. Now, that is an important phase. The problem is, and this is where I think Carl, I have to maybe lean towards Carl, because in the Big Ten today, if you in that game competing at that level, and you got the right record, that means you probably positioned to do that because those teams on the other side, which most likely might be Michigan, it would be Ohio State, or it might be Penn State, are probably coming into that game with maybe no losses or one loss, right? So if you get that, so that you in some ways you are already competing against that level of competition in that game, and now you bring USC to the table,
Yeah. And UCLA table, yeah.
yeah, and now Nebraska
Or
with
Matt
what?
Rule, yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I know.
so I you either gonna get boat raced or you're gonna rise, and I think that's why it is. So, where I'm with Darnell is that realistic? I don't. I
Yes,
think
it's
there's no
realistic.
choice, or you just
I
gonna
think
get
it's
with the
realistic. I
level
think
of coaches coming into
because
the
we
Big
got
Ten.
it's realistic because look at you talk about the bottom line. You talk about life is about talent development. That's one thing I love hearing about you.
Yeah,
Your philosophy about talent development, and Darnell talked about
yeah,
too.
yeah,
He's called talent development. I
yeah,
was involved with diversity government, talent development. That's the key thing in any
yeah,
type of thing, any sector you deal with. if it's not higher education, sports, it's about talent development. It's about succession planning. It's about, again, preparing leaders to lead and succeed. And so the bottom line is that, again, we ain't bringing in a coach, $8 million a year, to not go to CFP. I don't believe that in frugal Wisconsin.
I mean, and I would say that was the reason for not going with the internal candidate,
Yeah.
which could have got you there, but maybe got you there slower. Like, this is like, we are trying to get on the fast track. You know, USC is coming in 2 weeks, whatever,
Yeah.
2024,
Yeah,
and
well, I ain't
we want
afraid
to
of
be
USC
ready.
because they can't stop a nosebleed. So I ain't afraid of them.
If they
They
come,
can't stop a nosebleed. I'm only afraid that we got to travel to USC and Cats might be partying too much, and then we get beat in the Coliseum. But as long as they got Grinch, DC, we good. If I see Grinch on the other sideline, I'm clapping. Like, yeah, because basically Grinch is like a member of your team almost. That's like having a member of your
he with
team,
us.
because again, you talk about like some of those games that Darnell laughed about. Yeah, you're right, Darnell. When Wisconsin was at that game, in that championship game, it looked like basically it was Ohio State track meet with pads on, and we were just like Olay, letting cats just run by us. That's how bad it was. We're literally, I was in a bar in Wisconsin, at Madison's, and man, first half, everybody got up, closed their tabs, and we went to a place, Nashville, didn't have TVs, didn't have a telephone. We done with this. We have a good meal. We done with this, man. We ain't watching this mess.
All
Life is too
right, let's
short
go to the
get
other
beat.
game.
Oh, yeah.
I said Ohio State was coming. They was coming to play, and you almost could argue if Harrison Jr. didn't go down.
He went down though, bro. So,
But
he went down. He went down.
He was
Yeah.
cooking. He was cooking on
He
him.
was cooking.
He was
Yeah.
cooking on him.
He got cooked.
No, but he was cooking on him. He was.
Oh,
They had
he's
to.
the
They
best
had to
receiver.
teach out him. That should have been targeting. And I'm not even a Ohio
Yeah.
State fan. I mean,
Yeah.
he was clowning
Yeah.
him so bad. Your boy, they trying to give him all that love like he was that shut down corner, and your boy was just like, "There's levels to this." Your boy Harrison Jr. was like, "There's levels to this."
He should sue.
You
I mean,
got a
he should
level,
not.
and then
He should
there's
not.
levels.
He should not be playing in college football next year. He's the best receiver in the draft this year. It is a crying shame. It's racist. All the sports that have black players, we have to have these crazy rules where they have to spend 3 years out. Yes, soccer, we see right there, they play at 14, 13. Baseball, they play. All sports that are dominated by non-blacks, tennis, golf, they don't have these crazy rules. But football, we need to have maturity. Come on. If
He
this dude's the best receiver in
literally.
football right now,
I
he needs to
understand that
sue.
point, and
And
I
I
agree with
think
you.
Supreme Court might overturn this mess. I think
But
it
I'll
might
say
overturn.
this.
They allow
I'll say this.
NIL.
I'll say this. He's literally stunting like his daddy. Literally. I mean, I hate, and it's hard for me to say that
He's
about my cousin.
6'4".
Huh?
He's
And he's
6'4". He better
6'4".
than his
He
daddy.
stunned more than his daddy.
Yeah, he's still his
Darnell, you
dad. His
watched.
dad was bad at
Let
5'11".
me bring Darnell into the conversation. Darnell, you watched this game, boy. I mean, this was a good one, man. Make your assessment, break it down. Give us the czar to tell us straight, and break us down when you watch this game. This was a heavy hitter.
Man, I'm so proud of the way Ohio State played. But at the end of the day, you gotta make plays. And the Lathan Ransom play was, I think the Lathan Ransom play was bigger than, well, I can't say it's bigger than Marvin Harrison play. The Lathan Ransom play was just as big when he fell on I think they were cover one, and he just fell. And Aaron Smith caught a 70-something yard touchdown that changed momentum. But yeah, they played extremely well. Ryan Day called an excellent game.
Excellent game.
Marvin Harrison was on his A game. Mecca Ibuka had a great game. He had 100-some yards like that.
And they lost. And they lost. Yeah.
Yep.
And the tight end went out.
Yeah, tight end got knocked out. Yeah, but
so
Brian Bowers knocked
yeah,
out.
that's why I can't put it on the Marvin Harrison injury, because on the other end, Darnell Washington makes Georgia offense go. I mean, Brock Bowers, he's the most explosive offensive.
Yeah, but they was busting Washington up too. They was handling him. I mean, I have to give him. I was a little nervous about Buckeye defense, but they was handling him. They was handling those guys.
Who? Darnell Washington?
Yeah, they was pushing him around. That's why he
No,
got hurt.
I'm saying.
Busting him up, wasn't he?
No, Darnell Washington. He opens the offense up with his
I know,
blocking
but
because when he's
part of the
on
reason
the
why he
field.
went out was because they was busting him up.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be
No,
real.
he went out because the big fella stepped on his foot and he hurt his
Yeah, but
foot.
if
That's
you
what happened.
watch the game, they was
The
physical.
right tackle stepped on his foot.
Yeah, but they was physical with him when he was going out. He wasn't like he was before he got hurt. Wasn't like he was a factor.
I would say he was. I would say he was.
He was blocking, man. He
And
was
the
blocking.
defense looked good
Because
over there.
He was the
shoot,
best two-way tight
Ohio
end.
State had
Better
a
than
lot
I
of missed
thought.
tackles. They had a lot of missed tackles.
They did, but they was busting them up though. I mean, early on, the Buckeyes showed up, man. I had to say it. I was a little nervous. They showed up.
Vegas knew what was up because all that late money was going on Ohio State. They knew what was up.
And
They had
this
some
how
mold
bad
in
it
the
was.
practice, like
This is
they
the part I
practiced
want to
well.
ask you about Darnell, and then I'll get you.
And that kick was probably before you get that kick was probably one of the worst kicks I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, that was a terrible
With the
kick.
game on the line.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. He just kicked the side of the ball, man.
But was our Georgia coach a little bit too hard, Kirby? A little bit too hard. You see how he was on his quarterback? Like
Yeah, it was. Yeah, rightfully so.
He didn't play well.
Yes, because again,
he didn't play well.
You know where I vacation mostly at ATL. That's why I love Georgia football because Kirby Smart, even though he won the game, he was upset. That's the type of winner you need in football, where they're not happy with a 1-point victory.
I understand that,
that's
Kirby.
let me finish.
But Stetson gave him look like I'm gonna take one more of those. Stetson wasn't just taking it
that day. He was mediocre that day. You know he was.
Yeah, he was, but Stetson got you there, and also,
Again,
but
Kirby
Stetson
wants.
wasn't just taking it.
That's why I like Kirby wants
But did Stetson look like he was
accountability
just taking it?
from all of his players. He wants
But
accountability.
did Stetson look like he was? But Stetson looked like he was just taking it.
Well, I mean,
No, Stetson looked at him like Stetson looked like say one more thing.
He got swag. I mean, he got swag. You don't get to that type of
Stetson
level.
did give him a look like you say one more thing.
He got swag.
You know who I am.
This is a cat who went to junior college.
That's what I'm saying. Stetson gave him like, so you going because Stetson gave him that look like, so you gonna doubt me again? Like Stetson gave him that look like, okay, this is just one more thing.
You understand? That's what probably coach did to him.
And that's why he did it.
Coach lit him up because
Okay.
everyone knows that Stetson, like I said, he shouldn't be Georgia's quarterback. He should be some big Justin Fields, 6'5", Adonis type, Justin Herbert type quarterback. This dude coming in, look like a country boy, 5'10", 200, bringing it, not the strongest arm, but brings it. So yeah, again, that's what Kirby is at with psychology. Again, that's why he's one of the best coaches in college football because he will not take mediocrity from nobody. That's why I love him.
But Kirby grew into that. He had his stumbles.
Nobody, man. He won
Kirby had his stumbles just like everybody else.
The bottom line is Georgia football is about bringing it every single game. Yeah,
but Hammer, he grew into that. He had his stumbles.
I agree.
Like it just happened overnight.
I agree. And when
they was talking about him like he was like if he would have done it last year, he'd have been on that. He would have been on that Rick plan. You know what I'm saying? So he was getting some questions, and that's how you got to fight through it.
But again, he brought through. He came through. So I said they came through first time
in 40
TCU. Years. They lose
TCU.
That's going to be a problem. Like I said, the Georgia fans are going to accept that. It got to be a blowout.
TCU cats coming there like
they're in the ATL. Almost lost to Ohio State. That's embarrassing, man.
Yeah,
that's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, man.
Like I always say, my favorite line from Creed 2, they a balanced breakfast over there. I mean, TCU ain't messing around. They ain't coming just to be.
Sonny is one of the best coaches in the country, and Sonny, again, you talk about culture. He's a perfect culture fit. He was terrible at Cal. It wasn't because he was a bad coach. He's not California.
Yeah,
he's Texas through and through. His dad was a legendary. His dad won at Texas Tech when they had nobody.
Yeah,
we ain't talking about the Mike Leach Texas Tech, but Spike Dyer, his late father, paved the way for Mike Leach.
Yeah.
God rest his soul. He passed away too. So yeah, the bottom line is that That's what we dealing with. So, but again, TCU playing with house money. And I gotta give Price credit, Sonny credit. They knew it was disrespected. They lost their championship game. Cats like me, we didn't want to see them. We like find Bama some way to get in there. I don't care. I don't want to see TCU. I want to see Bama, Ohio State, Georgia.
I was advocating
That's
for
what I want. That's what I wanted to see.
Sonny. I was advocating for you, brother. So if you catch this one, I was
And I was
advocating.
advocating
I
for
was
Nick
advocating for you.
Saban, and you saw that a CFP team, they whooped on Kansas State like they stole something. That's what I'm talking about. That's Will Anderson. And again, like I said, they did their thing. I was upset about it, but hey, they showed out. I don't blame them.
That's the
They
culture.
showed out. They
So
showed out.
Darnell, I want you to break down this national championship game. You know, as our guy who's been paying attention to some of these guys, you know what they're gonna bring to the table. You know what are gonna be the keys to this national championship game.
Well, I don't think the keys changed too much. I think Georgia is going to show Michigan what they should have did, and I think Georgia is a better version of Michigan. To be honest with you, I think um, I think the biggest key, like I said, Darnell Washington. I think he's the key to
Mm-hmm.
the offense, and I think if he's playing and he's right, I think Georgia's going to take this one. I think they. You think the key is, of course, running the ball and using those tight ends to pass. On the defensive side of the ball, it's about. I know you're not gonna like this, but I kind of like what Mentor was doing. At some points, I don't think you should blitz all the time, but third down situations, I don't like having the ball in Max Duggan's hands for a long period of time.
But
Like
I say
he
come
showed
from
that
the
he can.
hash. Don't
Out,
come. Don't bring your safety down. You can see him creeping into the box
yeah,
with a guy who just almost won the Heisman. Will you have bring it from the short
For
side of the
sure, won
field?
the Heisman.
but
Use your
they
Dude was the
linebacker. Come from
Heisman.
the
but
linebacker level. Come
Georgia's
from the
blitz
linebacker level.
Georgia's
There's a lot
blitz
of ways to
packages
do
are
that.
Georgia's blitz packages are different than
Yes,
Michigan's blitz packages. But I think they're gonna blitz Duggan as well. But one a difference is Georgia is very good at they're very good at tackling in the open field, and I think you want to limit the deep ball from Quentin Johnson, and I think that's a way where you can do it. Where hey, I might not trust Keely Ringo and them to cover him for 4 or 5 seconds, but if it's 2 or 3, and the ball has to be out, then maybe we have a lot better chance. So that's why I think they need to bring pressure to Max Duggan. Don't let him step up in the pocket. Make him get the ball out quick and tackle and be short tacklers. And I think Georgia can win.
I agree with you. I just think and I agree with you. I think that's the plan to beat them. I'm with you on that. I think it's situational. I think it's not blitz man to man, but sometimes it's zone blitz. I think it's do you double Johnson because he's a key player. Do you run man? A man under too deep. But
I don't
it,
like
it's,
man
it,
under 2 deep.
huh?
I don't, not at all. Especially with Max Duggan, because as soon as you get in cover 5, 2 man under, he's gonna find a crease and he's gonna run
But he's
for
running that way anyway. If
for
you if
3 yards. No, he's
when you
not.
do a drill.
If you blitz, you throw bodies in his face. He's not gonna be able to run.
Yeah, but I think you got to get there because he's strong.
Yeah,
That's
Georgia's
like
gonna
playing
get there.
that's like playing my man in Buffalo, right? Like he shakes people off, and when you mess up, he throws on a run. He gonna make you pay. So you better get there. Now I think they got a good enough front line. They might be getting up some pressure sometimes with four. I think they might be able to get some guys there. But I think you got a right game plan. But it's just like the wide whether you're gonna come from the wide side of the field because he likes to go right. How you gonna come? Do you don't come from? Let him see you coming. He gonna make you pay. So I see it. So does it sound like you got Georgia winning?
Yeah, I think it depends on if Darnell Washington plays or not. I think if Darnell Washington don't play,
Boy,
I got
TCU got
TCU.
people nervous, boy.
I got TCU. I got TCU because I think they're going to score. I think Georgia's going to score some points to win this game. I think so.
Woo.
I think they're going to
Yeah,
score some points. And if
Bennett's
Darnell
gonna make
Washington
the
on the
plays.
field, I
Bennett's gonna
think
make the plays.
TCU going. I think TCU is going to be able to do enough. They're physical. They might not be as big as some other teams, but they're fit. But actually, I can take that back. And did you watch TCU's O line against Michigan?
Oh yeah, they
TCU
were
got some big. TCU got some big boys on that
that's
O
big
line. They
boys.
was moving. They was moving them off the ball. They
Yeah.
was doing a lot of good things there. But yeah, TCU they're a physical defense. They're really fast. So I think TCU has a really good shot. I got you.
All right, Hammer, who you got?
Man, Georgia's gonna blow them out, man. I don't care who they.
That's why. That's why I waited to go to Hammer.
Yeah,
I knew what I was gonna get.
yeah. I mean, they just toyed with Ohio State and beat them.
They didn't toy with them. Now,
They
don't
toyed with them,
disrespect
man.
Ohio State.
They toyed with
They
them,
are so
man.
glad to get out of
My
there.
girlfriend's father went to
Kirby
bed,
saw
thought it
his
was
world
over.
getting
I
shattered.
saw him the next day. He's like, Ohio State's playing TCU, right? I'm like, no, they lost. He's like, what, Carl? He's like, they lost. I'm like, okay. He's like, what happened? I'm like, I told him what happened. Nah, dude. I'm telling you, they just toyed. Georgia's the best
They didn't
team.
toy, man.
And
If
see,
they
the
would
thing
have
about like
lost
my
that at the
Kirby,
crib,
Kirby lit a fire. Kirby lit a fire. They came to the
Kirby did a
crib.
lot of prayers.
You know what they're doing. You've
Kirby
been
was
in
in there
Atlanta.
praying.
You got family in Atlanta.
Kirby went in there about
You have family. You have
Ye.
family. You
Ye
have
stayed
family
in
in
the
Atlanta too, bro.
you
You know
Ye
what
stayed in
happened.
the
They
Mercedes
were
Benz
out, man.
dome.
Atlanta's a great place. They were out in the club too long,
Nah,
and
Ye stayed in the Mercedes Benz dome.
they were
He went
chilling.
out there. He went out there to some Sunday service.
They were
He went out
chilling.
there to a mini Sunday service over there.
No,
He might have had Ye come down there and bless everybody, but he was trying to get a little extra something. He was nervous. He was sweating on that sideline. Don't even play it
and
like that. He was so
thing
happy
too, you want me
at
to tell
the end
you
of the
another
game.
thing? This might not be told football now, but this is what I know about the worst state Sonny could be playing his most important game is California. California, he gonna wake up in a cold sweat in California because about I'm telling the truth. Cal for him was a nightmare. He thought that was his job. He thought he was gonna go to Cali. He always had one step in Texas. Remember that. That's why they fired. It wasn't about performance per se, because Justin Wilcox ain't doing better than he is. He still got a job. It was the fact they knew he wasn't all in. They knew he wanted to be in Kansas, so he went to SMU and did his little thing, and he got to TCU. So, no, I just think Georgia, they played again. They had a scare with Ohio State. Thank goodness they had Ryan Day. They was able to beat him because he's an underachiever. Like I said, Mike Vrabel should be next coach of Ohio State University.
We can. I'm not gonna let you. Okay, Georgia.
Ryan Day should be at
We're not gonna let
Cincinnati.
that go. We're not gonna
He
let
should, he
that.
shouldn't
We
be.
go.
He should be
We're
at
not gonna
Cincinnati.
let
He
that.
shouldn't be at Ohio
We're not
State.
gonna.
He should be at
As much
Cincinnati.
as I'm not
You
a
got too
Buckeye
much talent.
fan,
You got
I'm not gonna let.
Julian
I'm not gonna
Fleming.
let you sit here with a guy who was
Julian
30
Fleming
something
would be a
and
star
2 in the Big
receiver
Ten,
anywhere in the country.
45 and
And
6,
that
and he's a
dude,
disappointment.
Emeka
What
Ibuka.
was his record in the Big
I mean,
Ten?
it
Darnell
don't
was it
matter. It don't
33
matter.
and
What's his
2?
record in the CF?
He lost 2 games.
What's his
He
Two
lost
record?
games in the Big Ten.
Yeah, two
He's
too many.
33 and
Two
2.
too many. Two too many. You got so
He's 45 and 46 and 5.
dude.
All
No
right.
chip. He's
All right.
zero. He got no championship.
We
Zero. That's
we, we,
Julian
all that matters.
Fleming. I got a hot take. Julian
So
Fleming will not start next year.
he probably won't because they got a bunch of new cats coming. But
Showtime
he gonna get
innocence.
drafted though. He gonna be a third rounder like McLaurin or something. He gonna be a good full pro. Watch.
All
I
right.
mean,
All right. So we got Georgia.
Jameson
I
Williams didn't
let,
even
let me,
play in Ohio State
so we know you're going with Georgia. Let me know what I got. Okay. So
all day.
I'm going to
Go
sit here.
Dogs.
I'm
Just start
I think
barking.
TCU's for
Woo
real.
woo woo. Go Dogs.
All right.
All day.
I said TCU's for real, but I think the kind of adjustments I've been talking about, I think Georgia's going to make. Whether